Hey friend, Nikki, your light therapist here. Congratulations on purchasing your new Inlight system. In this video, we're going to show you how to unpack your system and get started using it. No reason to wait. Let's jump to it. So when you open your 6-port system that you just purchased, you're going to find lots of different things. Don't get overwhelmed. Everything gets plugged in. It'll be easy and you'll be up and going in about 5 minutes. You ready? You are going to have two parts to your power supply essentially. This part is going to plug into your wall. This part is going to plug into the main power supply. So you'll see that there is an opening there. These two are going to connect. Make sure that this is snug. If you ever notice that your lights are flickering a little bit or your port isn't working well, always go back to check this plug-in because sometimes this plug-in can get loosened or come undone as we transport it or move it around our house. So we're going to plug that in nice and good. You can plug in this into the wall or hold off on us for a second. The next thing is we're going to take this baby and we're going to plug it into the back of our 6-port. So if you look at your 6-port, you'll notice that there are a number of different slots. And all the way on the end is going to be this one right here that we're going to plug our power supply into. Okay, so that's what's going to give electricity to the box and essentially power your lights. The next thing that you're going to unwrap is going to be your lights. So they're going to come in plastic bags. You can pull them out of those plastic bags, get them set up. Here I have a face mask and I have a local pad. When you pull these out, a couple other things that you'll find in your box are you're going to find some Velcro straps. There's going to be different length Velcro straps. Note if you have a face mask in your purchase, start with a shorter strap because what we really want is we want that face mask to be nice and snug. It doesn't have to be painfully snug, but we want it nice and snug. So look at the different size straps that you have and use them for adjusting the light pads, those neoprene light pads to different parts of your body to make sure that they stay in place. The other thing you'll find inside of your system are these goggles. If you ordered a face mask, you do not need to use those. The face mask is safe for your eyes to be open, for your eyes to be closed, sit back, relax. I find these very uncomfortable and they also keep some of that really good light from getting into your eyes. So you can go ahead and just set those off to the side. You won't be needing them. As far as plugging your lights in, one of the things that we really encourage is make sure that you're lining up the prongs of the light cords with the open parts on the back of the port. So if you look at the lights, you'll see the prongs in there, and then you look at your port, you'll see the holes where those prongs plug into. So instead of trying to force those in because we don't want to damage the prongs, make sure that you take a nice look and they should plug in pretty easily once you line them up. When you're plugging your pads in, I always want you to use them, pulling them in and out from this hard plastic piece that's on the end. What this is going to do is this is going to help your cords to last longer because if you're pulling from these, then eventually it'll come out of this socket here. Okay, so make sure that you're always handling it from this hard plastic piece, plug it in all the way. Again, if you ever notice that a light pad is flashing or not working correctly, go ahead and make sure that it's plugged in all the way because sometimes these can get loose. So I'm going to plug my 2 light pads in here. To get started, I've got my power supply plugged in. I've got my 2 pads plugged in. Hypothetically, let's say that I've plugged this into the wall and you are ready to roll. So if you are looking at your 6-port, you'll notice that there's a number of different buttons here. Let's walk through them really quick. First is our power button. You can leave your lights powered on all the time. Won't hurt them, doesn't make a difference. Electricity is not running through it, so don't worry about that. You can also power them off at the end of every use if you'd like to, but it doesn't hurt to leave them on. So power your lights on. Once your lights are powered on, you'll see the start stop button. The next one is you'll see set, and then finally you'll see mute. So once we've turned on our lights, I want you to play around with the set button. As you click through it, what it will do is it'll take you through the different settings that are housed in the 6-port. And we'll go through those settings in a different video. But click through the settings, familiarize yourself with how to use those. The next thing you can play with is the mute button. If you don't have the lights muted, they'll beep when you flick through your settings, and then they'll also beep when your 20-minute session is done. If you don't want them to beep when your 20-minute session is done, let's say you're using them at night, or you just don't want to hear that beeping noise, you can go ahead and click the mute button, and that will silence that noise. So once you've gone through the different settings, if you're using lights for the first time, you and I have probably talked, you can start with the A setting and the B setting. Again, we'll go through that in another video, but A and B are going to be the main settings that you want to use to get started on the lights. So once you've gone through the settings, you've selected A or B, all you have to do is push start. And what that's going to do is that's going to turn your lights on, and it's going to start a timer that you'll see on your screen here, and it's going to run through the setting A or B cycles, or whatever setting that you've chosen. Once that setting is up, it will automatically stop. The lights will power down. You'll notice that your box will stay lit up with the setting, and it'll reset the timer to 20 minutes. You're welcome to do another session. You can leave it powered on, or you can power it off and walk away. If for some reason you need to stop mid-session, let's say you have to take a phone call, use the restroom, for some reason you're interrupted and need to walk away, you can push the stop button, and that will pause whatever session it is that you're in. And then when you return, all you have to do is push the start button again, and it'll resume that session. Finally, we get a lot of questions. Is there anywhere that I shouldn't place the pads? Is there anywhere that they can be a danger to your body or whatever it is you're working on? The answer is no, except for your eyes. The FDA has not cleared the near infrared light diodes to go on our eyes. So we want to make sure that as you're using the Inlight therapy systems, the only pad that you're placing over your eyes is the face mask, because the face mask has the red light and the blue light, but it does not have the near infrared light. Also, a fun little experiment, if you want to see how your lights pulse and you want to be able to see what the near infrared looks like on the pads, because the near infrared light is going to be the diodes on your pads that don't look like they're working. They don't look lit up. That's the near infrared. And a fun way to see them is take your camera phone, turn your camera on, and face the light pads. You'll be able to see the near infrared lights lit up. You'll also be able to see the frequencies that the lights pulse at. So it kind of looks like they're glitching a little bit. That's the pulsating technology that makes Inlight very unique. And then finally, do's and don'ts when handling your new Inlight therapy pads. We really encourage people do everything from the pad itself or from that hard plastic piece that connects them here. So when I'm moving pads around my body, I'm really careful not to tug and pull from this connecting point, because what can happen over time is this eventually will start to come out from the pad itself, and you'll need to send your light pad in for repair. If that happens over years, that's totally fine, normal wear and tear. But to take the best care of your pads, always handle them from the pads themselves, not from the cords, especially if you're moving them around or carrying them around. And as you're plugging them in and out, make sure that you're using that hard plastic piece at the end of the cord to keep the cords intact and healthy as long as possible. Congratulations, you just unpacked your new Inlight system. We are so excited for you to get lights on your body.